"Stay behind me, Signy. The sea has come to claim its debt." The door did not open. It shattered, inward under the weight of an iron ram. The wet fog poured in, thick and smelling of the deep black trenches. A woman stepped through the splinters, her skin the color of a drowned moon. She was Sigrid, a high captain of the Brotherhood, and Kale's old shadow. Her hair was shorn close, like a boy's, and her eyes were empty pits of grey. She looked at Kale, a cruel smile pulling at the corners of her mouth. "So, the wolf has found a den," she whispered, her voice a jagged blade, "and a new bitch to warm his cold." Bitter-bed Signy felt a spark of heat, not of magic, but of a woman's sharp pride. She looked at Sigrid, then at Kale's back, seeing the tension in his spine. "Is this the past you tried to bury, Kale?" Signy asked, her voice tight. Kale did not turn, his blade held low, pointing at Sigrid's heart. "Sigrid is a curse I thought I had broken." Kale growled, "But the tide always brings the rot back to the shore." Sigrid laughed, a dry, rattling sound that filled the hollow hull. She looked at Astrid, who was trembling. Behind the pile of old furs, and a pup, too. Sigrid sneered. "Does the child know who you are, Kale? Does she know the names of the fathers you sent to the abyss?" Astrid's grip on Einar's axe tightened, her knuckles turning white as bone. "He is a good man," the child shouted, her voice cracking. In the gloom, Sigrid's eyes flashed, and she stepped forward, her boots crunching on wood. Good, he was the most efficient killer in the 7 Isles. "He was mine before he was yours," Sigrid spat. Looking at Signy, he made promises in the dark that he washed away with blood. Signy felt the jealousy like a drop of lemon juice. On an open wound, she knew Kale was a raider. But the words of the Salt Witch cut deep. "We do not want your war, Sigrid," Signy said, stepping beside Kale. "Leave this place, or find out why my kind is feared." Sigrid tilted her head, sniffing the air like a hungry mountain wolf. "You smell of cinders, elf, but your fire is a flicker in the rain. The Brotherhood has marked this man and anyone who shelters him." 6 men, shadows in the fog, stepped into the hull, drawing their steel. They didn't charge. They moved with the slow, rhythmic pace. Off the tide, Signy felt the heat building in her marrow, her hazel eyes turning red. She looked at Astrid, the innocence she had sworn to protect. If she used the flame, the secret would be out, and Hilda would find them. But if she did not, the steel of the drowned would drink their lives. Tonight, Kale Signy whispered, "The shield wall must hold." Kale nodded, his grey eyes turning to cold, unyielding iron. "Then let the deep take its fill," he replied, bracing for the strike. But as the first blade sung its hungry song, the air grew unnaturally still. High above in the rafters, a red bird with wings of velvet watched. It was the sentinel, the messenger of the Matriarch. and it did not intend to let the human blades touch the fire. The bird let out a screech that sounded like a woman's dying scream. The Brotherhood did not flinch. They moved in a wall of cold iron. Kale swung his heavy blade, carving a path through the dark fog. He fought like a man who had nothing left but the girl. Signy danced with Einar's rusted knife, a shadow against the fire. She did not use the flame. She kept the heat locked in marrow. But the drowned were many, and the hull was small and cramped. Sigrid watched from the splinters of the door, her eyes wide. She saw the opening when Kale's foot slipped on a patch of mold. She pulled a sliver of blue glass from her sleeve, an ice blade. It was forged in the frozen wastes, dipped in Draughrot and death. Sigrid lunged, her strike aimed for Kale's cold and unprotected heart. Signy saw the movement, and she knew Kale was much too slow. She did not think. She threw her body in the path of glass. The steel bit into her shoulder. Not a hot sting, but chill. The poison was not of the earth. It was the grey sleep. Signy felt her heartbeat slow to a crawl like a river. The knife fell from her hand, clattering against the rotting ship timber. Kale, she whispered, but her voice was a ghost of a sound. The red bird, high above, flapped its velvet wings and dived. It did not attack the men. It flew into the room's center. A blinding light erupted from its feathers, a flash of solar fire. The assassins fell back, blinded and scorched into the foggy night. Sigrid hissed, shielding her eyes. As she retreated into the dark, Kale caught Signy before she hit the hard and freezing ground. Her skin was turning, pale as the moon, cold to the human touch. Astrid ran to her side, her small hands shaking with pure terror. Signy. "Wake up," the child cried. "Please do not leave us now." But Signy's eyes were fixed on rafters, seeing only the shadows. The fire in her blood was being snuffed by the grave's breath. Kale looked at the wound, his face, a mask of total despair. The drowned had taken their tribute, and the price was her soul. She fell into the straw, and the world turned to grey ice. The storm broke, unleashing a torrent of freezing rain upon the port. Kale did not wait. He scooped Signy into his arms, ignoring the blood. "Stay close, Astrid," he roared. Over the sound of the thunder, "We must find the bone mender before the poison takes her heart." They ran through the mud-slicked alleys, past the sleeping beggars and stray dogs. The rain slashed at their faces, cold as the touch of a dead man. Astrid struggled to keep up, her small legs pumping, her face wet with tears. Kale kicked open a door made of rotted planks hanging on leather hinges. The room smelled of dried herbs, vinegar, and the musk of a wet cat. "Wake up, old man," Kale shouted, laying Signy on a table of rough oak. A figure stirred from a pile of rags, looking like a disgruntled badger. He was the healer, a man with a beard like a goat and wild eyes. "Get out," he croaked, holding a lantern up. "I do not treat the dead." Kale grabbed him by the collar, lifting him off the ground with one hand. "She is not dead, you old fool. She is sleeping. Fix her now." The healer gasped, his feet dangling. "Put me down, you giant oaf." Kale dropped him, and the man smoothed his robes, muttering a curse. "Let me see," the healer grumbled, bringing the light close to Signy's face. He lifted her eyelid, revealing a hazel iris clouded with a blue film. He touched her neck, pressing his fingers against the cold, still skin. Astrid stood by the table holding Einar's axe, her knuckles white. She watched the old man's hands, praying to gods she did not know. "Well?" Kale demanded, his voice trembling with a fear he never showed. The healer sighed, wiping his hands on a dirty cloth, shaking his head. "The poison is from the north," he said. "Draugr spit mixed with nightshade. It stops the heart, freezes the blood, and sends the soul to the grave." Kale slammed his fist onto the table, making the glass jars rattle. "I did not ask for a history lesson. I asked for a cure. There is no antidote, little one. The thread has been cut." "She is gone," the healer said. "Her spirit walks the iron road now." Kale staggered back as if he had been struck by a siege hammer. He looked at the woman who had saved him, now pale as milk. "No," he whispered, "she is strong. She is fire. Fire does not freeze. Even fire dies when the wood is wet," the healer said, turning away. "I can do nothing for her. Bury her deep before the rot sets in." Astrid screamed, a sound of pure shattered grief. "You are lying." She threw herself onto Signy's chest, pounding on the silent heart. "Wake up, Signy," she cried. "We have a deal, a shield wall of 2. You cannot leave me here," Astrid sobbed. "You promised to stay." But Signy did not move. She lay, as still as a statue of marble. Kale placed a heavy hand on the child's shaking shoulder. "Astrid," he said, his voice thick with unshed tears, "she is at peace." "She is not," Astrid yelled, pushing Kim away. "She is just sleeping." The healer watched, then feeling a pang of pity in his withered chest. "Leave her be," the healer said. "Grief is a storm. Let it rage." But then he noticed something strange about the body on the table. A faint glow, barely visible, was pulsing beneath Signy's pale skin. It was red, like a dying ember, hidden deep within a pile of ash. The healer squinted, leaning closer. "Wait," he whispered. "What is that?" He reached out to touch the glow, but the air suddenly turned cold. The door blew open again with a violent, splintering crash. Standing in the rain was a figure, wrapped in a cloak of silver fur. She did not look wet. The rain seemed to hiss and evaporate around her. It was Hilda, the matriarch, her eyes cold as the winter moon. She stepped into the room, and the shadows seemed to bow to her. "Step away from my daughter," she commanded, her voice freezing the air. Kale drew his sword, stepping between the witch and the table. "She is dead," Kale growled. "You have no claim on her now." Hilda smiled, a cruel, thin-lipped expression that promised only pain. "Death is just asleep," she said, "and I have come to wake her up." She raised a hand, and the healer's lantern exploded, plunging them into dark. But first, Hilda's voice echoed, "I will take what belongs to the clan." Astrid felt a cold wind wrap around her ankles, dragging her across the floor. She tried to scream, but the shadows swallowed her whole.